Never waste a good crisis. And when it comes to the economic crisis, don't waste it when it can have a very positive impact.
You never want a serious crisis to go to waste.
The way we're going to win over the long term is not just militarily. We've got to win over hearts and minds. And what that means is we've got to invest in countries that have no educational infrastructure, have no means for young people to get ahead. We've got to give them a stake in creating the kind of world order that I think all of us would like to see.
Stay tuned for Politics and Religion.
Minister of Strategic Affairs in Israel, Mr. Moshe Ya'alon, spoke at a high-profile Christian evangelical conference in the United States on Saturday and stated that the Israeli government wants to continue to strengthen its relationship with evangelical Christians. Israelis and evangelicals are all in the same boat, the former chief of staff added. That's been a real interesting thing, the development of this special relationship between evangelicals and Israel, especially at a time when some of your old line Christian denominations have actually become enemies of the state of Israel. The Presbyterians recently divested themselves of investments in the nation of Israel because they believe Israel is doing the wrong thing. Well, at the very same time, evangelicals are diametrically opposed to that stance, saying, we're watching a miracle right now. We are watching the rebirth of the nation of Israel as it was prophesied in the book of Ezekiel 2,500 years ago, Ezekiel chapter number 37. And we also do not believe that Israel should be trading land for peace because they have no right to take what God decreed was part of the lineage of Abraham and given it to the Palestinians. So there's a huge gulf in positions between Christians, those Christians who have long forsaken a literal belief in the Bible and those who still cling to the Bible and to its prophecies in particular. So it was very interesting that Minister of Strategic Affairs Ya'alon was at this conference on Bible prophecy, no less. There's quite a study in Bible prophecy taking place in the nation of Israel right now. There are people there who believe they live in the end time. They actually use the term end time, the name of this ministry. They use it in the nation of Israel right now, and many of them, especially those who really study their scriptures, believe that they're watching the days of redemption. That's the reason that they have worked so hard and invested so much money in recreating all of the utensils, all of the vessels that will be needed to resume the Old Testament administration of the temple, just like they did in the Old Testament. They think that's what they should be doing. Now, we don't think that's what they should be doing. We think they should accept Jesus as the Messiah. But that doesn't mean that we don't love them, because we know they are going to accept Jesus as the Messiah very soon now. In the meantime, we've got to allow God's plan to work its course. And so here we are with this very special relationship. I have a special relationship with Israel. I go there every single year. And the reason I do is because I know that God's got great plans for the near future. I take a tour to Israel every year, and it's always such an incredible and exciting time. The former top IDF soldier expressed hope that the coming meeting between President Barack Obama and Prime Minister Netanyahu, slated to be held July the 6th in Washington, will send this message of closing the gaps between Israel and the United States of America. Ya'alon, who is a member of Netanyahu's septet of trusted cabinet ministers, that's the inner core of his cabinet, said he believes there is still time to stop Iran's nuclear program through non-military means should the West decide to do so. He said that he is encouraged by Russia's willingness to cooperate with sanctions against Iran. Well, that shows you that Mr. Yalon does not really have much of an understanding of the prophecies of the Bible, or he would not be encouraged by Russia's willingness. He would know from the prophecies that Russia is going to end up in perfect alliance with Iran, and together they are going to invade Israel at the time of the Battle of Armageddon. This is all prophesied one chapter after the prophecy about the rebirth of the nation of Israel. That's in chapter 37 of Ezekiel. Chapter number 38 specifically states that Russia and Iran, calls Iran Persia, but that's Iran's ancient name. Iran was called Persia until about 60 or so years ago. So the Bible prophesies they will come down together against Israel at the Battle of Armageddon. So even though he sees some encouragement in what's just happened with Russia willing to allow a little bit more sanctions, which isn't really going to hurt Iran anyway, he's encouraged by that. Well, I'm not so encouraged by that as I am by this report. It is absolutely astounding to see terminology used in the prophecies of the Bible 2,000 years ago being used in our news today. This is God's way of reminding us that He foreknew the events of our time long before they ever occurred. For Bible prophecies quoted in this day's news, stay tuned for politics and religion.
Look, there are two things I don't discuss: politics and religion.
In my house, we don't talk about politics and we don't talk about religion.
I'll talk to you about anything except politics and religion.
I never talk about politics and religion.
Politics determines how we'll live here on earth. Religion determines how we'll live forever. I'm Irvin Baxter. I think it's time we talk about it.
Well, you're not going to want to go away, I promise you, because there's some amazing things in today's news. It's like they're quoting from the Bible, but don't know it. Now, I'm talking about Foreign Policy magazine. I'm talking about the Telegraph newspaper out of Great Britain. They are using biblical terminology today. I'm looking right now. Well, first of all, let me see if I have